Gorka! Gorka!
Our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal.
I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death.
The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here.
I have a dream today.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
I can hear you. The rest of the world hears you. And the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
And we will make America great again.
This is America First with Sebastian Gorka.
Welcome back, dear friends. Yes, indeed. Sebastian Gorka, former strategist to the president, host of the newest national radio show across the nation on more than 300 stations, affiliates, and sundry platforms, including the iTunes podcast app. Just look for Sebastian Gorka and America First. Also, live streaming audio and video at sebgorka.com, which is also my Twitter handle. Follow me, SEBGORKA. I've said it many, many times since we launched on January 1st. There are just a handful of organizations in America that fight for your freedoms and the founding principles of the Republic. And if you have any disposable income, you should be supporting them. Of course, you should be a member of the NRA. You should support Turning Point USA, Hillsdale College. But the mothership of them all, the most important organization standing for the principles of our founding, is the Heritage Foundation, heritage.org, and we are blessed to have with us none other than the president, Kay Colt James of the Heritage Foundation. Kay, are you on the line?
I sure am, and good afternoon. About what? What an introduction.
Well, I haven't even started. I've got your bio in front of me. I've highlighted. I mean, who has a resume like this? Worked at every level of government, local, state, federal, served President George H.W. Bush, served the governor of Virginia, George Allen, worked for President George W. Bush, was director of perhaps the most quietly important agency in the U.S. government, OPM. Why? Because it's where the personnel questions are handled. Personnel is policy in D.C. We are honored to have you on the show, Kay.
And you left off my most important credential.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble now.
Friend of Sebastian.
Ouch! Oh, my gosh. You are smooth. I know why they hired you to be president of the Heritage Foundation.
No.
We are very excited you are there. You're doing some amazing things. I'm just going to ask the big, tough question. When Ronald Reagan became president, there was a rebirthing, there was a flourishing of conservative ideas, conservative institutions. We filled the content of Reaganism with bright, shiny new ideas, bright, not it was bright colors, not dull colors. What are the challenges today for the conservative movement? We broke the system with this iconoclastic non-politician in 2016. What is the heavy lifting to be done by people in heritage and people who support heritage and people who just love this country?
You know, the toughest problem we have today, you are tackling better than anyone else on the planet, and that is waking up our movement. You mentioned Ronald Reagan and the successes that we had after that, and you know he is beloved among the conservative movement. But at the end of the day, I think we got a little sleepy. I think we got a little apathetic. I think we thought that the battle was won, And when we got apathetic and when we got sleepy and when we got tired, they woke up. They grew and they got strong. And so, Reagan taught us that freedom is only no more than one generation away from being lost, and every generation has to fight. And so we have to wake up our movement, which you are doing like none other, and we have to get back on the battlefield and fight.
Well, it's very kind. Did you ever think, Kay Coles James, that as a person who lived through the Cold War, who served numerous conservative presidents, did you ever think that there'd be a day where an incumbent president would have to address the Congress and talk about us never being a socialist country?
There are so many things that are happening in our country today that I never thought I would live to see. I never thought that I would live to see a governor of a sitting state endorse infanticide. I never thought I would see someone sitting in Congress that says unabashedly that they are socialists. I never thought that I would see people have such a reckless disregard for the values and the principles that got us to where we are today, our founding first principles. And, the thing that concerns me more than anything, Sebastian, is most of this stuff happened on my watch, happened during my adult years growing up in this country. And I absolutely refuse, as I go into my 70s, to think about leaving an America to my grandchildren that is less free than the one I inherited. And so I think it's incumbent upon all of us who have seen this change take place in America, suit up, get back on the battlefield, and fight.
So this is a message of re-energizing all of us, but there is this lingering criticism we've had for maybe a generation that our side, the conservative movement, has done a very, very poor job in reaching out to those communities, the black communities, the Hispanic communities, that by dint of tradition should be on our side given their values, but that we haven't reached out to institutionally. Kay Coles James, is that a fair criticism? And if so, how do we fix it?
I think it is a very fair criticism. There are four sectors of the American demographic that I think we as conservatives must win. We must win back our youth and snatch them back as they try to draw them into socialism. We must win back the minorities of this country who are suffering most under the liberal policies. We must reach out to the women of this country who they have targeted with their nonsense, and we must win back social elites. As a conservative, I absolutely abhor identity politics. And what I'm talking about is the mirror opposite of that. I want to bring us back together, and we should come together and join around this great American ideal. So I want to draw all of those demographics back to this wonderful ideal, this wonderful American exceptional country that they are trying to divide and conquer. So we've got some heavy lifting to do.
We do indeed, but with heritage we will get there. In the last minute we have left, what do you say to those who are leery of the conservative movement and who say we're heartless, we don't care, it's all about profit, we don't care about the dispossessed? What would your message to them be, Kay Coles James?
Well, you may or may not know, and your listeners may or may not know, but I grew up in poverty in Richmond, Virginia, in the public housing projects, born to a welfare mom. I have seen firsthand what works and what doesn't work. And one of the reasons that I'm a conservative today is I know that the policies that we have cause human flourishing, lift people up, give them opportunity, give them freedom. And so for those who think that we are cold or heartless or mean-spirited and they want to, gravitate toward the far left agenda in this country, if you genuinely care about people and want to lift them up, you will take a hard look at the conservative message.
She is the president of the mothership, the Heritage Foundation. Follow them at Heritage. Follow her, Kay Coles James, on Twitter. We were very, very excited when we heard the news that you would be taking control, taking the helm at the Heritage Foundation. Support that organization. Check out all its publications. Thank you for sending us some of your very, very best experts. You are an inspiration to all Americans, the founder of the Gloucester Institute, the president of the Heritage Foundation. I'm Sebastian Gorka. This is America First on the Salem Radio Network, coast to coast. Your call's next, 833-33-GORKA. That is 833-334-6752. Let your voice be heard, and don't touch that dial.
This is definitely not CNN.